In this exercise, we are going to determine whether or not a given equation is a function or not a function. Now recall, the way we can determine whether or not an equation is a function is by using the vertical line test. If a vertical line crosses a graph more than once, then that graph is not a function. So let's take a look at a couple examples here. So let's consider y is equal to x squared as well as x is equal to y squared. Now both of these equations will produce parabolas, but they're going to produce them slightly differently from each other. Let's start by making a table of values in order to graph y equals x squared. If we let x be 0, 0 squared will give us 0. If we let x be 1, 1 squared is also 1. And if we let x be a -1, -1 squared will be a 1. So if we plot these points accordingly, and go ahead and connect these points on our coordinate plane, we will get our parabola shape. Now, notice that any vertical line I draw through this will only cross the graph one time. Therefore, this graph is indeed a function. But now let's consider x equals y squared. If we go through the same type of chart here, when x is 0, y is 0, but if we have an x value of 1, that can come from y being equal to 1, because 1 squared is 1, or it can also come from y being equal to -1, because -1 squared will also produce 1. So plotting our points here, we'll have 0, 0, and then when x is 1, our y values can be either 1 or -1. Notice now that our parabola has turned on its side. When I draw a vertical line through this parabola, it crosses the graph twice. Therefore, I have repeated x values with different y values. This means that our graph is not the graph of a function. So here we've explored how to tell whether or not a particular equation gives us a function or not a function. We use the vertical line test in order to make this happen.